Today here at the Chamber in Sargent Studios, we're honored to have one of our newer members here to the Chamber, one of the newest things to the community, but it's one that's long overdue, and we're so grateful to have them here with us. The National Medal of Honor Museum is here. A big part of that is the Griffin Institute, and a big part of both is our guest, Tony Brock. Tony, welcome today.
How are you, Brian? Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
I'm so glad you're here today, and so many people are familiar with the Medal of Honor Museum, but the Griffin Institute as well. So they're separate, but they're together. What's the relationship between the two?
Yeah, it's definitely one team, one fight. So the National Medal of Honor Museum Foundation consists of three parts. We got the monument, which will be up in Washington, D.C., the museum that's right here in Arlington, Texas, and the Griffin Institute. And if you think about the museum as the vault that holds these Medal of Honor recipient stories, it's a biographical museum. It's not a military museum. It's not a history museum. It's intentionally designed to capture the life stories of these men and women who have earned our nation's highest award for valor. So if we think about the museum as that vault, then the Griffin Institute is the vehicle that helps get those stories out across America.
It's interesting to me because I've been to the museum and I've seen the stories, and I had not been through the Institute yet. I've talked to many people that have, and just rave reviews. I'm not just saying that because you're here today. I would say that with any guest in the seat today, and I look forward to someday doing it myself. But for someone that's actively involved with it, what is the takeaway that you hear from people as they're leaving after they go through what you had to offer?
Yeah, our mission statement is to inspire, equip, and connect. And so we're really trying to bring folks closer to these values and getting them to incorporate them in their own lives. So we don't tell you what your values need to be, but we do tell you that it's very powerful to have them in the forefront, of your life. So we kind of believe, like, now more than ever, that's terribly important. I think we're can all agree, politics aside, just we're living in pretty turbulent times. There's higher levels of anxiety and frustration and isolation in the country, and so rallying around a concept of what matters to you most is really important now more than ever.
Oddball question here. One that I didn't think about in advance. It just now struck me, though, two things. One, where's the name Griffin come from?
Yeah, so one of our major benefactors for this was Ken Griffin, who gave a generous charitable donation to form the Leadership Institute, and so it's named in his honor.
And number two, did the Griffin Institute exist before the Medal of Honor Museum was built here in Arlington?
It did, and early when we formed up, even I've been here about 2.5 years, but before I arrived, Charlotte Jones and Chris Cassidy, our CEO, and a number of others on the staff, on the board, saw that we needed that bridging extension of the museum being a fixed entity and an outreach arm. And the concept of a leadership institute was very early in the planning. And so when I got here about 2.5 years ago and met up with the rest of the team, we realized that we didn't need to wait for the grand opening for the museum to get started. And so we've done a number of different programs, both on the youth side and on the adult learning side, which started as long ago as 18 months ago, where we've had the opportunity to do cohorts around the country for either C-suite corporations at their location, or some of them have come here to visit us in Texas.
Talk to me, you touched on it briefly. I want to get into it, the youth programs.
Yeah.
We're familiar, those of us familiar with the Institute, of course, are familiar with the adult leadership programs. But what are you doing for the youth programs? Walk me through that process.
Yeah, it's fundamental to our mission statement that if we're looking to inspire, equip, and connect people around these values, that we want to get that baked in at the earliest age possible. And so Ellen Metcalf is the director of our Center for Character Excellence. She's also the VP for the education program at the museum. And as a former teacher and a former Coast Guard officer, she's absolutely the right person to lead that charge. So she runs in-house tours at the museum. We plan on moving about 600,000 people a year through that space. And so we're talking school buses and, 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders, high school students, et cetera, and their teachers with live programming in the museum itself. We've got 2 classrooms downstairs as a live in-person event. The other half of that programming is digital, and it lets us get out across the country. One of those is Character Playbook, which we've done in coordination with the NFL, and that gives us a couple video shorts bolted onto that existing program of the Character Playbook where a lot of sports figures are predominantly portrayed there. And we've done a couple video shorts of the Medal of Honor recipients themselves. So that's one. And then the second is a new program called Moments That Matter. And this is specifically targeted at 7th and 8th graders and above. And that programming is literally going on today. Ellen's meeting over at the museum with teachers and getting them trained up on all the materials. It was done in close coordination with PwC, who through their generous donation of time and talent helped us design what that digital programming would look like. And that'll go out across the country this fall as a free program for teachers so that they can meet the teaching requirements for ethics and civics within social studies. And again, it brings them through all four of the values of courage, sacrifice, commitment, and integrity.
Which obviously ties into the recipients themselves.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think key to that programming was asking the students, we're really keen on making the audience the hero of the story. And so the Medal of Honor recipients are certainly heroes, and they've done incredible things. In our programming, the audience is that hero of the story, and we're asking children predominantly, who do I want to be? Who am I growing into? Who do I want to become? And who do I want to be in service to others? And so with those questions in mind, we have both youth interviewers and youth newscasters who are part of the videos and part of the programming, because they don't need to see a bunch of old guys like me. And then also the Medal of Honor recipient stories. And so we had Flo Groberg and Will Swenson and others who appear live in the programming and walk the children through this arc of self-discovery. What are my values? Who am I in service to others?
I think people will be glad to know that it's not just the youth, the adult leadership stuff as well. Let's transition into that. When you get into the adult leadership, what is that through corporate adults, or is this adults in general, or what are we doing there?
Yeah. Well, one final plug on youth, so that I don't miss it, is that for teachers and schools that are interested to get access to that programming, it's 100% free. Due to generous support by AT&T, it's posted on their website, the Achievery website for AT&T. It's also on our website as well, so teachers can download that, access that programming. So, yeah, transitioning to adults, then that's both, I say corporate leadership, but it's profit and nonprofit. You're a leader if you're a community service leader, you're someone, active in a nonprofit, in your school, in your church, etc., or a corporate C-suite. And so that programming consists of 6 modular blocks, which allows us to get all 6 of the values. We bring folks on a journey, again, of self-discovery where they're the hero of the story, and they're using the Medal of Honor recipients as case studies. Here's what right looks like. How can I adapt some of this stuff in my own life? And it starts on the first 2 modules on day 1, talking about self, and on day 2, in lifting others, and then on day 3, how do we scale this for mission impact and greater impact across not only maybe our enterprise, but other organizations that we work with. So folks can participate in that 3-day program either as a flyaway. We'll come out to you and come to your corporation. We've been up to Virginia and St. Louis and New York and out west. And in those opportunities, it's called Above and Beyond. And then the flip side of that, a lot of the same content is you come to us, and that's called Leading in the Moment. And that 3.5-day program is right here in Arlington, Texas. We like to say, 15 minutes south of the major airport. We're equidistant from Jacksonville, Florida to San Diego. So this is just a perfect spot to be. Folks from all around the country can come here. And when you do that, we do an evening dinner, full-plated, dinner experience, VIP tour of the museum with guides. Come down. Let's talk about what we just learned. Let's talk about what the impact was. Bring in a guest speaker. And then we do 3 days of programming, and the Griffin Institute's physically located inside the museum.
Have you had any opportunities yet to where you went to visit someone, they liked so much that they came here to get more?
Yeah, we have had that, which, the accolades are nice, but the proof is when folks want actually the repeat business. And so we've had that from both Lowe's Hotels and their C-suite organization. We met up with them in St. Louis and then met up with them again here. Lucas Oil has been a huge supporter of ours out of Indianapolis, Indiana, as their headquarters. And same idea. We went up and did some work with them, and then they came down to us. Their sales team's coming back this summer. Their C-suite's coming back again in the fall. And so for us, that's a big part of it. You're seeing the repeat business.
Well, and I have to think too, for lack of a better word, from a pure marketing standpoint, there has to be numerous opportunities where someone is here and then they spread the word for you.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, that word of mouth advertising or word of mouth marketing is so important, because I can tell you how great we are, but obviously I'm coming in with a bias.
Sure.
So having those CEOs and C-suite board members be able to speak in our marketing materials and say, all of us are living busy lives. How do you carve out the time to do this kind of stuff? And they've been really gracious in providing their, testimonials and saying you can't afford not to. We're all busy, but if you can't get these sort of values aligned and get your team all heading in the same direction, then your chance of mission success and therefore financial success is, very unlikely at best. So yeah, 100%.
So with the youth and the adults, and I was reading before you came in today, you talked about thought leadership. I don't have a lot of time left, but does that tie into both of those, or is that a totally different thing?
No, it's all interrelated. And, so along that continuum, if you have youth programming, adult leadership programming, and now what about these concepts, of honor, of just value, or the concept of values and virtues, honor, courage, commitment, etc. So the thought leadership or speaker series is, we just launched under the Center for Elevation of Honor, and that'll consist of a couple different parts. It'll be an opportunity for the Medal of Honor recipients themselves. Of the 40 million Americans who have served, fewer than 4,000 have received the medal. Only 61 of those are currently alive. So it's a really narrow, special group that we get to bring in as speakers. We also have the opportunity to bring in some noteworthy and well-known authors and leaders in this space, and we'll bring them in as speakers and have dinner events that folks can see. We'll also have videos captured of that experience and have them playing in the theater. So throughout the year and the years to follow, when folks come to visit the museum, they can hear those same fireside chats and independent keynotes. And then the last part is really everyday heroes, in which we're calling Beyond the Medal, stories of everyday heroes. And I really want to capture so many of the folks who are around the country, whether they served in the military or not, they're still embodying these values. And maybe they did something in their community. Maybe they did something in their city. Or they did some heroic act, where they pulled over the car, jumped in the river and saved somebody. Hey, you don't have to serve in the military to demonstrate these values. And so we want to highlight that as well and bring them into the National Medal of Honor Museum and showcase that.
Yeah, it's such a big part of the Arlington community. I've got to wrap up, but as I sit here at the chamber, and you guys are very valued investors, partners with the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce, to the point that you were members of the chamber before you even got there. I had to ask, what, if anything, has the chamber done to assist you guys?
Yeah. What has the chamber done to not help us? I don't know which came first. It's sort of a chicken and the egg, because the chamber, one of the major players that helped get the National Medal of Honor Museum to Arlington, Texas in the first place. So we're very grateful for that and for that partnership. And so now we see ourselves as part of this ecosystem in the entertainment district, along with AT&T Stadium and the Dallas Cowboys. You got Globe Life Field and now national champions, Texas Rangers, Lowe's Hotels, all the things that are here. And so I think that the chamber's motto that together we succeed just rings true among all those players. It just keeps getting better and keeps getting stronger. So in the big picture, one, you got us here. And then in the second, I think all of the programming, whether that's the business breakfast programs or the evening programs that keep tying everyone together, that connectivity, that's what the chamber does. It brings people together, it allows us to share ideas and best practices and just help each other out and make everybody better.
Tony, I appreciate that. And I wish I had more time. We're probably going to talk some more off camera, but for now, I got to roll, folks. But I got to point this out. He mentioned it more than once about Together We Succeed. Obviously, Tony gets it. The Griffin Institute get it. The museum certainly gets it. And we get it as well. So we're grateful for them and we're grateful for you. And we'll catch you next time.